Okay, so welcome everyone again to the Green Era Hub webinar series. My name is Barry Crosby and I'm one of the communication officers for the Green Era Hub project. If you've been here before, you'll know that the Green Era Hub project officially started in September 2022 as a coordination and support action of the European Commission under the Horizon Europe programme, and it currently represents 15 EU ERA-NETs, co-funds and self-sustained initiatives in the field of agri-food and biotechnology. Well, we started these breakfast clubs here in October last year, and we've had three very successful series so far. The first was circularity in agriculture. The second series was related to biotechnology to advance sustainable solutions for bioeconomy. And the one that we just finished was sustainable food systems. So if you're interested in listening to the talks related to any of the topics from our past series just mentioned, our recordings are now available to view on our YouTube channel. Now, for these 3 months, we're focusing on the topic of precision agriculture technologies for a sustainable future. And here we're going to have topics related to transparency across the value chain of different products, application of artificial intelligence in farming, robotics in farming, among many others. And just a few housekeeping announcements. Please feel free to type your questions in the Q&A and chat section, which I've enabled for everyone. I'm going to do my best to address as many questions as possible within the time that we have today, which is 1 hour. If at the end of the session you have a question for either of the speakers, please do remember to address the speaker in the question. Now, today we have two panelists joining us, Dr. Dimitris Argyropoulos and Dr. Gulen Gökçen. We will begin our session today with Dr. Argyropoulos, who is currently Assistant Professor in the School of Biosystems and Food Engineering at University College Dublin. In leading the Digital AgTech Lab at UCD, Dr. Argyropoulos is a leading expert in the integration of smart technologies in the agri-food and bioresource industries. With a strong background in leading collaborative EU, national and industry-driven research, Dr. Argyropoulos' work spans automation, IoT and sustainable transformation of agri-food systems. He has a particular focus on the application of digital technologies in the mushroom industry, where he currently leads projects focused on AI, hyperspectral imaging, and computer vision for mushroom growth monitoring and detection. Today, Dr. Argyropoulos' talk is entitled Unlocking Data-Driven Innovation for Improving Productivity and Data Sharing in the Mushroom Value Chain, which is part of the MUSHNOMICS project from the ICT Agri-Food Initiative. Dr. Argyropoulos, thank you very much for accepting our invitation for our webinar series. I think I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so you can start sharing your presentation. And just a warm welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Perfect.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you very much. First of all, good morning, everybody. Thanks for the organization of this very successful seminar. And many thanks, of course, for the invitation. I'm very pleased to be here with all of you today. And I would like to thank you once more because you have presented myself very precisely. I have prepared, as you see here, a slide, but your introduction was very precise. Few words about our school. I belong to the school. I'm an academic. I'm assistant professor, as you said, also at the School of Biosystems and Food Engineering. Our school is a leading center for education and research in the application of engineering principles to agriculture, food, and renewable resources in Ireland. And within our school, I lead a digital tech lab, which is focused on the application of smart systems to the agri-food and bioresource sectors. Areas of interest, as you very precisely said, includes sustainable agri-food systems, automation, digitization, including specialty crop agricultural mechanization and automations, applications of artificial intelligence to agricultural systems management, adoption of digital technology in the agri-food sector. And again, very precise, I would say, comment. My research group has a special research interest towards digital transformation of the mushroom industry. We have been involved in many different European projects and national ones, focusing like Foster XR in the past, focusing on detection and segmentation systems for mushrooms in their natural habitats. We have led a pilot on SpectroFood project on portable hyperspectral imaging technologies for quality inspection of Agaricus bisporus mushrooms, very important mushroom variety here in Ireland as well. Um, a project that has just completed couple of months ago, MUSHNOMICS. We were leading a work package on AI algorithms for mushroom growth monitoring, and this will be the main topic of today's talk. And a current one is called Farmtopia that my team is leading a mushroom pilot focusing on digital agricultural technologies. You may ask why oyster mushroom cultivation? Just to set the scene before I go to the details of the projects. Mushroom cultivation represents a remarkable example of sustainability in practice and is currently the only viable, socially acceptable, and widespread agricultural practice to convert various byproducts and waste into high quality food. We have observed that over the last 35 years, a 25-fold increase in mushroom production has been recorded. And this increase in the production of mushrooms has been combined with a high increase in the respective per capita consumption as well. Oyster mushrooms or Plevrotus species are of particular interest. Why? Their production account amounts approximately 30% of the total, corresponding to the fastest growing and most profitable section of the mushroom market. This type of mushrooms are commonly grown on pasteurized wheat straw, but the secret is that they can also be cultivated on a wide variety of agro-industrial residues and urban organic waste. Technically speaking, mushroom cultivation is a very complicated process and represents a special case of controlled environment agriculture. Mushrooms grow indoors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And unlike green plants, mushrooms do not need light to grow. For example, oyster mushroom cultivation includes three distinctive processes like incubation, which is the vegetative development phase or the time of mycelial growth, pinning, the initiation of the reproductive phase, or the induction of primordia and the fruiting, when the fruiting bodies start to form, and cropping, relate to mushroom growth, or the fruiting body development phase. Mushrooms double in size. I need to mention here that mushrooms double in size every day. And because of that, the mushroom industry faces a unique challenge with mushrooms growing at a remarkable rate of 4% per hour, making timely harvesting crucial to prevent overgrowth and, of course, yield, optimum yield. However, the situation is a little bit different in reality. Harvesting time is based on personal judgment or based on empirical knowledge, resulting in suboptimal mushroom yield. As far as now the growth and yield monitoring aspect is concerned, oyster mushrooms, as you can see here, pose a special difficulty due to their complex morphology. Oyster mushrooms grow in clusters. This makes it more difficult to quantify their growth based on cup size and stipe length. Oyster mushrooms obviously are asymmetrical. There is special temporal variability of clusters within the farm. They are irregular, they have irregular shape. And as you may notice here in this picture that individual mushrooms can be occluded given the tendency to grow in clusters. Um, Substrate composition and environmental factors like temperature, humidity, oxygen, carbon dioxide are also anticipated to exert an effect on mushroom yield. From an industry perspective, the sector is dominated by small and medium-scale producers, not only in Ireland. In Ireland, the industry about oyster mushroom is small. Across Europe, also is the same phenomenon. The sector is dominated by small and medium-scale producers, I would say. Data from commercial farms, of course, are scarce, and where available are also variable duration due to commercial schedules and considerations. And recent developments in the field of sensors and computer vision have promoted the application of crop detection systems. And accurate detection of mushrooms represents a very essential task for any computer vision task, but represents, based on the reasons that we mentioned before, a significant challenge. Therefore, data must be collected and analyzed in a systematic manner over the production processes along the mushroom life cycle in order to quantify the effects of different environmental schedules on mushroom growth, development, and yield. Coming now to MUSHNOMICS, as I said, MUSHNOMICS was a 3-year project funded by ICT Agri-Food General project with a main aim to demonstrate the feasibility of dynamic data-driven analytics for multi-domain mushroom production environments in order to optimize yield, lower costs, and improve the economic viability of this sector, the mushroom sector, I would say. MUSHNOMICS is formed by 4 partners, the University of Copenhagen in Denmark, a mushroom producer, an expert in the mushroom domain from Hungary, an IT expert, a company from Romania, and ourselves from UCD. And the specific objectives of the project were to develop best performing artificial intelligence driven algorithms for yield prediction of mushrooms in a prototype MUSHNOMICS module with IoT devices for real-time production management and demonstration. Also to develop the MUSHNOMICS digital platform to exchange data and information from production points of sale along the mushroom value chain, and also to develop novel business models based on the IoT-enabled MUSHNOMICS module for informed decision-making by mushroom businesses and entrepreneurs. Technologically speaking, MUSHNOMICS consists of 3 core elements with respect to digital solutions. The MUSHNOMICS module, which is an IoT-based and environment control modular container farm unit, the MUSHNOMICS cloud, and the MUSHNOMICS digital platform. Briefly, the technology that we have developed is applied for gathering real-time data from vast networks in the MUSHNOMICS module, like relative humidity, carbon dioxide concentration, temperature, air circulation, light, and so on. Transmit this data to central storage, the MUSHNOMICS cloud, develop large data banks, undertake data analytics, and with the aim to deliver mined and collated data to the relevant stakeholders in real time. And this has been enabled through the MUSHNOMICS digital platform, which is a portal to the global and European community, of course. The prototype MUSHNOMICS module consists of 3 shipping containers. All of them were retrofitted with necessary smart sensors to monitor the mushroom production process. Just to give you an example, the first container in the mushroom is the mushroom substrate preparation unit for the utilization of the agro-industrial and urban waste as feedstock for mushroom cultivation. The second one represents the mushroom cultivation unit, where most of the experiments took place for incubation and fruiting. And the third one is a spent mushroom substrate valorization unit for the treatment of the soil-like high in organic matter material remaining after harvesting of mushrooms. In other words, the spent mushroom substrate. Our research approach and the different activities, MUSHNOMICS was implemented in 3 different phases. We have social interaction, the social interaction phase, the scientific and technology phase, that has been combined with production trials, optimization, and demonstration phase. We gained, of course, in the beginning of the project, we gained invaluable insights into mushroom value chain. It was all about understanding the mushroom the mushroom chain dynamics. For example, the components of the mushroom value chains were analyzed, the key players within the supply chain, the geographical location of the ingredients, the constituents to form the substrates, the logistical issues related to them, the volume and variety of materials moving through the supply chain. This has been achieved through stakeholder engagement, of course. So we have organized multi-stakeholder workshops across 4 city regions involved in the projects, one for each partner country. And finally, we identified the current demand and supply in terms of mushroom production, as well as the agro-industrial and organic waste sourcing available to design our substrates to grow mushrooms. The second phase then focused both on the MUSHNOMICS software and hardware developments, like the AI algorithms for yield prediction, take into account multiple environmental factors and the containers that were retrofitted with the necessary smart sensors and the Internet of Things devices. Finally, phase 3, the integrated MUSHNOMICS solution was validated via several production trials and demonstrated under real commercial settings. As far as the work plan is concerned, MUSHNOMICS was a pilot-driven project and was organized into 6 work packages. Work package 1, led by University of Copenhagen, conducts the research and value chain analysis. Work package 2, led by us in UCD, developed the data-driven algorithms. Work package 3, then led by Pilce Nagy, the mushroom expert in Hungary, is dedicated to production trials and optimization. While work package 4, led by Holisan, the experts in IT technology, develops a digital platform that integrates the data generated in the project. Work package 5 then focuses on business model development based on the solutions that we have generated in the project. And lastly, work package 6, of course, guaranteed the successful administration of the project, also managed communication dissemination activities along with exploitation aspects. About our data-driven algorithm, what we have developed in MUSHNOMICS, our prototype. You may know that many AI applications in mushroom production focus on harvesting, packaging, post-harvesting, I would say, but the MUSHNOMICS technology is all about the art of mushroom growing. And in this system, integrated IoT sensors play a pivotal role by constantly tracking key environmental factors like temperature, humidity, carbon dioxide, lighting within the growing chamber. Then the computer vision system, equipped with cameras which have been distributed throughout the mushroom growing room, transmit real-time images to an image recognition system. Data and images are fed then into the instant segmentation model, and the model learns the best way to manage these conditions, therefore ensuring optimal growth. But the magic happens when the AI employs computer vision to identify the precise, the accurate growth stage of each mushroom and adjusts the environmental parameters accordingly. A few words about our novel computer vision pipeline, which includes 6 distinct steps, starting with acquisition of experimental image datasets using low-cost RGB cameras in a real-life production environment, followed by the development of deep learning-based tool for semi-automatic annotation of images. Then we proceed to the examination of the data, any applications of pre-processing techniques to counter possible data defects and so on. Then we select and test suitable deep learning instant segmentation architectures. We evaluate these models. We evaluate the model performance through evaluation metrics, state-of-the-art evaluation metrics. And finally, we validate the MUSHNOMICS, I would say, algorithms using new mushroom image datasets taken from the farm. Having said that, very good example of our pilot farm in Hungary, where a series of experiments have been carried out over the past 3 years. Image acquisition at Pilce in our pilot farm or in their production facilities in Budapest. Each experiment took, I would say, approximately 6 weeks each. And we have set up different sensors. We have acquired data during summer, during winter. We have, as said before, we have set our cameras in fixed positions with specific distances from the mushroom substrate blocks. As you already saw that oyster mushrooms grow in clusters. Therefore, we aimed to acquire images at different growth stages under different lighting conditions in the farm environment. And finally, we created a very homogeneous data sets capturing all different stages of growth during the process. It's worth noting here also that we were capturing data every 15 minutes, both images and environmental data. This implies that we have generated for each experiment more than 4,000 images to train our models. And these 4,000 images, if you see here in the picture, contain more than approximately 8 to 10 clusters. If you multiply the amount of data that we have generated to train our models were really significant. The collected raw oyster mushroom dataset then was processed into formats that can be used to train and evaluate our deep neural network architectures, the instance segmentation models. And this process was quite, I would say, laborious, time-consuming after image acquisition. The regions of oyster mushroom clusters in the images, the individual ones, were manually annotated using an open source image and video annotation tool, creating the labels required for model training, testing, and validation. Then the mushrooms in the images were carefully annotated, defining the boundaries of the individual mushroom cluster present in each image. This process finally resulted in a collection of user-defined masks we need for each mushroom that was considered as an instance of interest for the segmentation and training of our neural networks. I would say that I need to highlight that the time-lapse application, since we have taken images throughout the life cycle of mushroom production, the time-lapse application aimed to track the growth of mushroom clusters in a series of consecutive images, and the model was able to predict mushroom clusters or mushroom instances with very good accuracy all along the production cycle, from pinning to cropping to mature mushrooms for harvesting. Also, a tracking algorithm that has been developed has then enabled the detailed monitoring of the cluster growth throughout the cultivation process. And the size of each cluster was calculated in terms of pixel number to track the growth of each mushroom cluster through the different images. The growth rate of the clusters here is presented in relative terms and serves, of course, as a proof of concept for tracking mushroom growth digitally. Also, the clusters are categorized as small, medium, and large, providing a very good overview of how suitable each cluster is for harvest based on its relative size. Another major outcome, as said, is the cabinet. We have developed the module, the cabinet, to support small-scale farmers with mushroom production. This is equipped with sensors to measure temperature, humidity, carbon dioxide. There is a software control algorithm to secure optimal conditions for mushroom growing inside the cabinet. The measured and logged parameters are accessible and can be downloaded from an online surface and mobile app as well. And there is also a dashboard that makes possible to intervene remotely and set the threshold for the control parameters to enable optimum mushroom growth. Another major outcome was our MUSHNOMICS digital platform, integrated the data generated throughout the project. An application has also been developed here, including the different features like the grower notebook, an application to estimate the amount of mushrooms and the spent mushroom substrate expected for a given initial feedstock sources, and the mushroom detector based on the AI model and the whole procedure explained earlier. Now, we continue our research in this area, as said earlier, in another European project called Farmtopia. And the goal of this project is to generate digital farming and make it accessible to all. The project includes 18 sustainable innovation pilots, and we at UCD are leading on a pilot on oyster mushroom in close collaboration with a mushroom farm mentioned before from Hungary, our experts in mushroom farming, and other relevant stakeholders in Germany. In this project, we advanced the solution developed in the MUSHNOMICS project using more advanced sensors and moving from low-cost RGB cameras to high-performance stereo cameras and RGBD cameras. Here, we incorporate depth estimation, which is a task of measuring the distance of each pixel relative to the camera, and depth can be extracted from either monocular or single or stereo multi-views of a scene of images, or stereo vision cameras, I would say. A detailed set of information from RGBD images in this case is essential to meet the requirements of more advanced smart or intelligent application agricultures like smart robots or automated crop harvesting. We also carry out manual measurements on farm of mushroom sizing and develop a methodology of precise size estimation of mushroom clusters with the aim. Why we do that? Our aim is to accurately then validate that our AI models work well in practice. Before closing my presentation, just to give you a brief overview of, I would say, a relative new term here. I would say that technology nowadays enable us to move towards smart farming, smart mushroom farming applications. And if I could give a definition of smart mushroom farming, this could be, I would say, defined as a continuous, automated, real-time monitoring, tracking of growth and development, including also quality, disease, as well as environmental parameters in the production cycle of mushrooms. This implies that we go beyond crop growth and development, including disease aspects, environmental parameters monitoring aspects, quality aspects as well, of course, in real time. Important to note, as demonstrated earlier from my presentation, is also that the tools for smart mushroom farming can only be developed through collaboration between scientists, in this particular case, biotechnologists, engineers, of course, ICT developers, and farmers. We need the knowledge of all actors in the value chain to work in a collaborative manner, I would say. And I would like to highlight also here that MUSHNOMICS and Farmtopia represent some good examples of such multidisciplinary collaborations. As a business model, smart mushroom farming can offer a solution in different ways. For example, by using different sensors like IoT, cameras, or spectral imaging, robotics. Smart mushroom farming software can integrate data and can deliver useful information to the farmer. As an example, it can create alarms on smartphone if any problems occur in the farm in relation to suboptimal environmental conditions or overgrowth of mushrooms to ensure optimum time for harvesting and I would say, facilitate effort and workload during the mushroom production cycle. Thank you very much for your attention, and of course, I would be happy to answer any question you may have or comment, and let's keep in touch.
Thank you very much, Dr. Argyropoulos. The really interesting and insightful presentation, I think. Fascinating. I just jotted down numerous different questions I have for you. I just want to remind everyone that the chat box and Q&A section is open. So please do feel free to type a question for Dr. Argyropoulos at any point. Um, just while we're waiting for our participants just to type in their questions, I was just kind of struck, Dr. Argyropoulos, by the kind of the importance that you've stressed, and rightly so, in my view, just from listening to the presentation,
Yeah.
um, regarding the importance of collaboration between all various actors involved in the mushroom value chain, in terms of kind of making this kind of very ambitious project kind of realized. And it struck me that this is quite kind of revolutionary stuff, that you're involved in, and I assume that it would be, I know you touched on kind of business models and so forth, and I assume that there would be a very kind of strong business interest in what you're doing, and in Mushnomics particularly. Um, has there been any business models that have been developed around the Mushnomics project
It's
to
work in
date, or
progress, I would say. Yes, it's work
yeah,
in progress. We have developed, as said, hardware, software parts, and now we are in the process to develop the business models that could be probably software as a service. It's not decided yet, I would say, but it's something really worth considering in the near future.
I'm sure you'd be
Absolutely.
approached probably by various different business interests in
Already,
kind of
already. I mean,
I imagine.
this collaboration between, as you said, the multidisciplinary, the multi-actor collaboration between different actors to generate this outcome.
Yes.
I would say, I'm always approached by different actors, farmers, for example. Okay, how can the farmers always ask, how can we benefit from these solutions? What would be the in terms of the benefits in terms of productivity, economic returns, and so on. But as said, it's hard to tell now uh, the practical outcomes of what we are doing with respect to economic returns. But as I said, this is something that we are considering now, and this is something that we will come with the robust business model very soon, I would say. Yeah.
Just in relation to like the development of technologies that you spoke about during the presentation, I mean, just like any kind of application of technologies in kind of farming generally, irrespective of what it is that is being grown or produced, there are kind of certain obstacles, and researchers have kind of pointed to those
There are.
practical.
Oh,
Yeah, I was just wondering, can you maybe tell us a little bit about that, like the types of
yes.
difficulties in implementing this, like
As
on the
said,
ground?
exactly. Thank you, Barry.
Yeah, no problem.
In order to have, as I said, a robust business model, you need to get data, not from the lab, but from mushroom farms, first thing. And this is already an obstacle, how to get this data. Uh, this implies you need to collaborate with at least with one mushroom farm in the beginning, just to set up an experiment, develop a prototype, and then you need, in order to ensure that this business model will be robust, as said, and reliable, we need more data. The data aspect is already a big obstacle. We need access to this data. There is no infrastructure in place to get this data. This means, as researchers, we need to collaborate with multiple farms. Is what we are doing in first level was the MUSHNOMICS project. Now in Farmtopia, we have access to more than one farms. We can generate more data. We can analyze variance among different farms, I would say, and then progress to business development. To summarize, um, access to data, existing infrastructure. We talk about digital technologies, real-time data acquisition, real-time data processing, real-time visualization, dashboards. This implies connectivity, internet connection. Rural areas do not really have broadband internet connection is another limitation. Um, Another one would be, I would say this has somehow changed nowadays. Farmers are not reluctant to work in a collaborative manner anymore. The young generations of farmers are always open for new collaborations, I would say, are very capable also with IT technologies and so on, and can understand the benefit of IT as well. Infrastructure, data connectivity, interoperability aspects as well. We talk about different systems also. And uh, yeah, and access, I would say, because these AI models require huge amounts of data sets in order to be robust, to be reliable, and so on. Therefore, collaboration is the only way to succeed, I would say.
Fascinating, Dr. Argyropoulos. Thank you so much for that. Just we have a couple of questions
Please.
from our audience.
Yeah.
Just one or two about the growing cabinet, actually. So somebody is just wondering, first of all, is the cabinet available on the market? And then somebody else is actually inquiring about the cost of that growing
Yes.
cabinet.
This is, of course, Masnomics is a research and innovation project. As I said, we develop the prototypes is a next step to commercialize. But the prototype is already available in Hungary. We have demonstrated, our partners from Hungary, Pilsen have demonstrated the cabinet in at an exhibition a couple of years ago, 2 years, it was 1.5 years ago, I would say. And the cost is something that I cannot really announce now, but we are working towards developing a solution that will be favorable for small-scale farmers. Therefore, we try to keep the cost as low as possible. Why? That's why we used in Masnomics low-cost devices to generate the data and develop the models and the whole process, I would say. But I cannot really give an estimate now, but I could give will not be more than 20,000 euros, I would say.
Sure, sure. Great, thank you.
In this
And just
region, it would be finally, yeah. Integrated, sorry about that, Barry. Probably it's
sorry,
good to
no problem.
clarify because I presume that this question coming from someone interested in investing in the future and so on. Therefore, I would say since the module, the cabinet, the module is a container growing mushrooms. And this container is made by stainless steel, should be for food production, and also having sensors for to ensure optimal control of environmental parameters. This implies software as well. There are different systems that should be integrated for 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 the complete Masnomic solution, I would say. Therefore, if you consider that you can have the hardware, for us the hardware is mainly the cabinet, the sensors to control the environmental parameters, the image-based system, the recognition, the image-based system to take images, and the AI behind to work towards parameter optimization. Yeah, as I said, it's something that would be in the region of 20K, something like
Yeah.
that. But again, I cannot really precisely say the final price of it, but integrates many different digital technologies in one system. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. Just one or two more quick questions just before we wrap it up. Somebody's asking about was any yield data collected during your experiments
Yeah.
to link with the image data?
Yes, absolutely. The process, we develop the models, but we need to validate the models, and there are different aspects of validation, I would say. But one of this is one of those aspects is we take manual measurements on farm. This implies we have developed a methodology to measure the size of mushrooms and correlate the size of these oyster clusters with weight, with mass. Therefore, yes, we have selected yield data. We have collected by ourselves size measurements, manual size measurements on the farm. We have gathered this data. Yeah, it's the only way to validate your models. Yeah.
Dr. Giropoulos, thank you so much. We could spend, I think, another 20 minutes easily with
I really
questions.
like
Lots of
also
interest coming in.
talking
It's
about that. Yeah.
fantastic stuff. Thank you so much and so interesting. Unfortunately, we just have to leave it there now because we're just joined by our second guest,
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you very much, Dr. Giropoulos. Fascinating talk. Now joining us is Dr. Gulden Göksen, who is currently Assistant Professor in the Food Technology Department at Tarsus University. I'll just share my screen just very quickly. Okay. So Dr. Göksen's research focuses on the extraction of biological macromolecules and the development of nanomaterials, including nanofillers and nanofibers. She specializes in designing green, active, and intelligent coatings and films, as well as exploring macro, micro, nano encapsulation techniques to improve bioavailability, particularly in relation to macroalgae and in vitro digestion. Dr. Göksen is actively involved in national and international projects that address food packaging systems, alternative proteins, innovative technologies, and the valorization of agri-food byproducts and waste aimed to create sustainable solutions within the agri-food sector. Today, Dr. Göksen's talk is entitled Innovation in Truffle Cultivation, Preservation, Processing and Wild Truffle Resources Management, which is part of the Intact project, a Horizon 2020 funded initiative coordinated by the National Council of Researchers of Italy. Dr. Göksen, thank you very much for accepting our invitation for our webinar series. We're delighted to have you with us today. The floor is yours. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can start sharing yours. Thank you very much.
For your invitation. The first, I want to thank you for your invitation. And the first, you mentioned about myself. My name is Gülden Göksen. I work as an associate professor at Tarsus University. Today, I want to talk about my project. It's the name of the acronym is the Intact project, and then name of this the innovation in truffle cultivation, preservation, processing, and the white truffle resources management. And this project is funded the European Union Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Program under the Marie Curie Grant Action. And also where is the Tarsus University? Tarsus University is a public university established in the 2018 in the Turkey. Is a very dynamic and very young university. It's the south of the Turkey, near the Mediterranean Sea. We are the 7 faculties, 1 institute, and 3 high school. And I mentioned about for my academic pathway. During the PhD, I stay in the UK and the Spain, and then after got a postdoc position in the Charles Food Research Center. And also I got a permanent position as a university. I decided to come back to Turkey, and now I work as an associated professor at the university now. Thank you. The current projects until this now, I have some funded projects on as a different type of the program, European Union programs. It's a PRIMA program or the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership program, and then the Horizon 2020 Marie Curie Action, and also is the Aeronet programs. And then most of them is I'm as the PA, and then for these projects, and also the researchers is the one of them. And the topic is the truffles, and then I mentioned about what is the truffles. Truffles are estimated the edible fungi, and one of the most valuable is the non-wood forest products that grow in the symbiotic association with their host trees, and there are the high economic and then social value, and then their cultivation is the significant interest in the development of the rural areas in the European countries and also in other continents. And however, it has been observed at the decline white truffle production and heterogeneity in the future fields in the new plantation, mainly due to the lack of the enough. And then we decided to not secure to the knowledge about the ecology and management of the fungi. And also issues are the open on the technologies for preservation, processing of the truffles, and we including the ethical, economical, juridical, and normative frameworks related to truffle hunting and commercial exploitation required to be tackled toward the common effort. And the impact projects, what is our aims? Is the establishing the multi-layered networks of the research and innovation staff active in sustainable use of the both wild and cultivated truffles, including to the cultivation, pre-treatment, preservation, processing of the truffles. Particular attention will be paid at issue related to the juridical and normative framework for the traceability legislation for each countries involved too, and the rules are the different from the each countries in Europe, and the national rules and the international rules. And another important things for the research of about the truffles will be strength toward the exchange knowledge and expertise on a program, providing the stronger translational cooperation and better connection between the actors committed to research and production on the truffles value chain. We this is very important, the truffles value chain. This program we started to the 1st of the June 2022 until the 1st of the December 2026. And then this project is the 4th-year project, and we plan for program is the second month, involved as a range scientific activities from the technical skills exchange and training, the methodological development and planning the future research. And then also our projects involves more than 100 people, including researcher, young researcher, administrative, manager, technical staff, and also have a sizable impact above and beyond these involved the exchange. And then many bilateral exchanges is the until this now is the made, and then we will continue to for this process, and then all partners is the benefits from the network, and then establish the both or taught formal workshop, taught the continued the semi-formal or informal aspects of the continuous the multidisciplinary exchange. The involvement of the non-academia organization alongside with the academics once will also is allow bottom up input and help the disseminating to result in the related the productive and service sector along the researchers to acquire direct knowledge on the firm's needs, and on the other hand giving to firms staff and direct shatka with research organization environment. And we also as the new skills developed as a project in crossing the variety of the research involved with the research staff as they learn from the one to another, and in the frame of the joint activities taught depending on the cases, laboratories, site activities, lectures, seminars, and workshops, etc. And research and training will not only deal the technical scientific disciplines, but also we identify the legal and ethical issue at the Europe, and then the international level and the national level relevant for research and practical application. And also with CV to do align the universal shared protocols for determination of the these issues. And then economists and then political scientists, judges, experts from several European or non-European universities and research bodies. We also is a close collaborated the truthful scientists, farmers, policymaker, and in order to identify and discuss with them legally, economical, political, bioethical issue arising from the research activities about the truffles. And the scientific staff also received the necessary training faced to legal and institutional problems for the put into the evidence with the project, thus transferring to research staff for new knowledge useful for the development and their careers. And then who we are, it is better. We have 19 members. We are the internal sector and interdisciplinary exchange program, our project. And also we performed as the short or long-term period staff exchange. And the INTAC consortium is the four non-academic organization, 8 academic institution belong to EU member state, and then 2 academic organization belong to associated country, and 5 partner organization belong to third countries. I will explain the who is. Who is for this our project members, and also is the coordinator is the CNR from the Italy, and we have the different type of the partners is the academia and non-academia, and also is the University of the Perugia is from Italy, and then Tarsus University in Turkey, and Pietralunga from Italy, University of the Malaga from Spain, and CTFC Spain, and the Cite Aragon in Spain, and then IMCI Sabria, and INRA is France, agri-food is the company from Spain, and then DHA Spain is the company, and SIA Umbria is the NGO from Italy, and the University of the Lleida from the Spain, and then the University Autónoma in the Chile from Chile, Conitec from the Argentina, and the University of the Rabat from Morocco, and the CIFAP from the Argentina. Our work pack I want to mention is our work packages. We have a 7 work package, and also is the one is the coordinate. The first one is the coordination. Second one is the methods of the truffle spaces of the identification. Third one is the truffle cultivation. The fourth one is the wild truffle sources and management, and fifth one is the truffle pre-treatment, preservation and processing, and sixth one is the regulatory framework and sociality challenges, and then the seventh and the final one, communication and dissemination results. And also it is most important for the development of these work packages. Each work package has been endowed with good balance of the human equipment and instruction sources. Each work packages is the trackers, or one of the major topics is the Truffle word, and provides a good combination of the research, training, knowledge transfer, being to plant the number of each segments, educate to perceive the objectives or at the work package and task level. And then also is the for each work package there are several tasks addressing the special issues, and all project partners are actively involved in all work packages activities, and the responsibilities of the supervision of each work package or each task is assigned to one of the member of the project. And we decided to manage the work packages and research and training work packages between 2 and 6. The close interactive with work package 1 is the coordination, and work package 7 and dissemination. And the work package 2 is the work package leader is the CNR from Italy, and also is our project coordinator, and developed common protocols both at the molecular and morphological level of the truffles and mycorrhized identification, sharing the scientific, technical, and practical information, and spreading to the use of the truffle and mycorrhized identification methods, and identify the most important parameters to be considered for plant certification. And work package 3, what is our objects? The main objects that I mentioned in here, the main objectives, is to share information on the truffle cultivation from the both empirical and scientific expertise of the partner countries, such as France, Italy, and Spain. They collect the information, collect the information to find the best sets from the recall parameters in the truffle cultivation, and then find suitable fields and symbionts and cultural practice for each cultivation of the most important tuber species. And also it is possible to cultivate 3 species and also varieties, maybe, we can say that, and valuable fruits like hazelnut, pecan, and then also is truffles as a agroforestry. And another work packages our INTAC projects, and then share the current knowledge among the partners on the environmental assay and management of the wild truffle sites, and define the activities aimed to avoid the lost productivity in the wild, and the properly management techniques to restore or to maintain the wild truffle production. And the project mostly identified the different truffle wild styles in which these management activities has been tested or should be tested. Okay, the next one, our work package is the mention about the objectives. I'm also the member of this work packages, and also we have 5 objectives, main objectives for this development, this work packages, and then to study and implement the suitable sustainable technologies for the conservation, post-harvest truffles and the processed products, and also to study and develop new truffle and then truffle-based products at the laboratory and pilot level, to study and development new chemical, physical, and sensory analytical methods for the evaluation of the fresh, preserved, and processed products, to study and improve the truffles product safety and quality along their whole food processing supply chain, and such as we think that for development this project farm to fork approach. And also finally to give the significantly contribution to the development and enhancement of the sustainable truffle and truffle-based food products whole supply chain in the Mediterranean region. And the work package 6 objectives analyze the collection of the truffles in relation to rights of the landowners and the local communities, legal, disciplinary, and property on the truffles, and the circulation of the truffle within the EU internal market, and the commerce from the towards on the third countries, protection the health of the consumer, and legal and or ethical issue concerning the protection of the environment and then the biodiversity, and also legal and ethical issue about the use and the circulation of the truffles for the scientific purpose, and economic and political structure ruling to provide and the public markets concern the truffles in the countries involved in the INTAC, and critical questions from the analyzing the significance of sex and gender in the formulating research question in INTAC. And I mentioned about our project specific aims and expected outcomes. I'm sorted of these parameters, and the truffle species is identification based on the morphological and molecular methods, production of the quality mycorrhized plants, and improvement in the truffle species cultivation, and then the truffle national site preservation, and improvements in the post-harvest preservation treatments, and advance toward legal and policy framework. And also I'm finalized my presentation, and then also we have actively used our social media accounts and the for Intact project. We have a project website, Intact project.eu. And also we have a different type of the social media account, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also we have a YouTube channel. And all the name of the account name is the Intact Project. If you follow us, I'm so happy to our if you see our activities, our um, every year we organize the summer schools, and you can follow us. You can see that. And thanks for listening today. And then also give a chance. I want to thank you for Barry for this talking about this topic.
Dr. Coxon, thank you so much for such a really interesting and I think comprehensive overview of the Intact project. Really fascinating stuff. Thank you so much. And I know that you kind of maybe difficulties you had to travel this morning. So we're really, really grateful that you're able to join us and present. So thank you so much for that. And I just want to remind everyone that the chat box and Q&A section is open. So please do feel free if you have a question for Dr. Gokshin and her Intact project. Please do feel free to type that in. We'll take one or two questions just before we wrap up. Just while we're waiting, Dr. Goshin, just for our audience just to type in any questions they have.
Of course,
I was
yeah.
just really interested in.
Any question, for example, after you can see the chat, and then the share with me is in the email. I can reply it, no problem, because the Intact project we are only think that the truffles, we are talking about only truffles, how to preserve, how to do legislation, or how to do cultivation, and then the combination from the whites, and then if someone find the white truffles, and then characterization if you found that, or the what is the differences, the cultivation, the truffles, the white truffle. We only think that the truffles, everybody is talking about the start of the truffles. For example, we each consortium meeting, and then for example, I work on the how to preserve the truffles. And then, for example, I developed the packaging materials for truffles. The aroma is very important that for the truffle, and then the people buy it the very high price, and then they are thinking that the very good aromatic consume, and also we only focus on the how to protect the aroma for this truffles. Yeah, okay. We have one question, I think.
Yeah, we just have a question coming in, Dr. Guxon. The question asks, can Irish conditions produce truffles? We have a lot of ground cover grasses, etc.
Yeah.
Would this be a
Yeah.
problem? Is organic farming suitable?
Yeah, I think so, because I know that I stay in Ireland is the more or less 2 years, and then I know the Irish condition is the weather, and then the maybe it's the need to do some how to say mycorrhiza is the cultivated is the some oak, maybe it's the possible to for the Irish agroforestry, and why not, it is possible to for the condition it's available.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Guxon. I mean, just kind of, I suppose, just from my own interest in terms of like moderating these talks, for this series on precision agriculture technologies for a sustainable future. I was just really fascinated about the kind of aspect you talked there about how your work is primarily involved in the preservation of
Yeah.
truffles. And I was just wondering, can you maybe tell us a little bit more about the kind of the new tools, technologies that are being developed, both maybe within Intact and other similar kind of projects aimed
Yeah.
at the kind of, developing, I suppose, and future proofing the truffle industry.
Yeah, of course, maybe it is possible for the edible coating for the protect after post-harvest of the truffles. And then maybe I have some, I applied to some novel technology, but the paper is not published yet. And then so I didn't share this information to you. And also, yes, normally the truffle is a very narrow area. It's not working to do all over the world, it's and some groups is a focus on the truffles, the products, because and also is the mostly is the cultivated in Spain and in Italy mostly, and from the transfer to the like Asia connected, and because they mostly is consume it, but they process it. The truffle chips, it is possible. Truffle paste, it is possible. Also, the olive oils with truffles, or like different types of the products for produce the truffle for the long shelf life, and then the consume to the all over the years. Mhm.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Gushin. Just one or two final questions just before we wrap up. Somebody is just asking about what truffle species would be most suited to grow in Ireland.
I think black one, black
Like,
truffle is the more and then firstly it's the cultivated for the these truffles, and then the different type of the trees, different type of the species trees, and the black one, it is started point for the most suitable the islands, in my opinion.
great,
Mhm.
thank you. And just a final question. Somebody is asking, is it true that truffle production in Europe is declining because of persistent drought?
Normally we applied for um, this type of the project, and then how to increase the biodiversity for the soil affect the soil draws on that. Um, Probably we say that yes, but need to for the more work on this area, because not my expertise for the correct answer to this question.
Mm, sure.
Mhm.
Dr.
Yeah, because
Goodwin,
I am food scientist, and then the most is I'm thinking that, and then I'm also is a focus on the how to protect after the grow up the truffles and the collected truffles. Yeah.
of course, of course.
Okay.
Dr.
Thank you.
Guxon, thank you so much for first of all giving an excellent presentation and taking the questions. I'd just like to once again thank Dr. Argyropoulos and Dr. Guxon for giving such wonderful and again very insightful presentations, I think, and providing us with a great overview of the respective projects this morning. Our next webinar will be on the 9th of January in the new year, when we will begin our new series, Series 5 of the Breakfast Club webinars, which is going to focus on plant health. So look out for the talks coming in the new year. This should be fascinating. Again, thank you very much to our panelists, and thanks to everybody for attending and for your questions today. If you've missed any part of the talks, they will be available on our YouTube channel. So I'll be uploading today's presentation to YouTube very, very soon. So please do look out for that. Once again, thanks very much to both our panelists, and thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you at the Breakfast Club very, very soon. Thank you and
Thank
goodbye.
you. Bye bye.